Well, good morning, my beautiful people of TikTok. Happy Sunday, and also International Missing Children's Day. And today we're going to be covering two cases. We're going to be covering the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, which I'm going to be providing you guys an update this morning. And then I'll be coming back later today and having a more thorough discussion about Sebastian Rogers, two missing children, one out of Nova Scotia, Canada, one out of Tennessee in Hendersonville. Now, May 25th is also known, as I said, as you guys were coming in, the International Missing Children's Day. Over the past 3 weeks, several agencies have participated in ground and air searches in Lansdowne Station as part of an ongoing investigation into the disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. The Nova Scotia RCMP thanks the hundreds of volunteers who have scoured the area for the two children. As RCMP officers continue to assess and follow up on all aspects of this missing persons file, investigators thank the many Nova Scotians who contacted police with tips. Anyone with information who hasn't yet spoken with officers is asked to call the Pictou County District RCMP at 902-485-4333, or to remain anonymous, contact the Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers toll-free at 800-222-TIPS, which is 8477. That is the most recent update from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Nova Scotia, and that came out just about an hour ago. And there is the post right there, as you can see. So I know that this is International Missing Children's Day, and it's also Sunday. But when I read this post from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, this one that you see behind me, it doesn't really give me this warm, fuzzy feeling. You know, I feel like this case is now starting to scale back. They're going to have to pivot at some point for this criminal investigation, which we all kind of know is going to be happening in the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. None of us really believe the parents or the parents' statements of what happened. I'm very, very interested and still very curious about the house party and who attended that house party. But so far, we have gotten zero information other than the rumor from the neighbor that said that there was a house party. So I'm kind of skeptical whether this house party actually did happen or not. And I'd like some corroboration on it, because I've been working to try to confirm it and corroborate it somehow since I heard it, which I believe was around May 7th, something like that. And so we're coming up to almost 20 days. It's been 15 days. We should have some corroboration by now. Hey, Grave Crime with Grace. That's where the 35 came from. I assume that might show some supporting information that they had the house party with that large number of 35, but we don't know. They're school age kids. They're around people at the school. So, maybe 35 could be acquired that way as well. So I'm still trying to find some, just something that can say, yeah, this does kind of support more that there was a house party, because I'm very curious about that, because it's going to change my assessment in how I analyze this case, regarding what the answer is. And so far haven't been able to make heads or tails in that regard. Good morning, Betty. Good morning, Crystal. It's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. So I wanted to get out because I was just going through this. I was actually going to run a story on Sebastian Rogers this morning on TikTok, but I decided after reviewing the Royal Canadian Mounted Police statement that we would run this one, because it's not one filled with something that I it's not like I'm hearing them saying we're going to continue these searches, these ground searches and stuff like that. So what had happened is when these children went missing on May 2nd, There was ground searches, a massive ground search, something like 160 individual searchers on the ground that came in from all over Nova Scotia. And they penetrated, I think, 5.5 square kilometers, which is a large ground search. And then they said they were going to scale back those searches. Well, then last weekend, they something happened where they engaged those searches again, and we never heard any more about it. Then we get this here on International Missing Children's Day, and it doesn't make me feel like they're going to continue those ground searches for these kids. So I really think this is the pivot to the the criminal investigation side. And they do have all of those identified interviews that they had identified for formal interviews. I'm sure at this point they have probably most of those 35 interviews concluded and completed, and maybe going back to some of those people with follow-up questions as we speak. So this is not looking good. We learned early on, the one thing I can say about the Royal Canadian Mounted Police is they told us early on they don't expect these children to be alive when they find them. So that was a gut punch for all of us. But at the end of the day, we still need to be searching for these children because they've got to come home. And again, this is Lilly and Jack. Lilly is 6 years old. Jack is 4 years old. And they were missing from their area in Lansdowne Station, and that is in Nova Scotia, Canada. It's just a really, really sad case. And I don't know, there are some of the requirements that I say, a lot of people ask me, how do we get to this? I know covering these cases, I've met friends and family that have, distanced themselves from people and stuff like that, but they've never understood how they got there. What happened in their life that took this major shift where you're in a situation where two of your children are gone and deemed deceased by law enforcement. How did we get here? And for many of them, there are three ways that get us here. And that is alcohol abuse, substance abuse, and home violence. And it doesn't have to be all three of those. It doesn't even have to be two of those. But one of those are always a factor in most of the cases we cover. It's usually one of those factors, two of those factors, or all three of those factors in the majority of every single case we cover. So if we could remove the violence, remove the alcohol abuse, and remove the substance abuse, a lot of these cases that we're covering, we would never be covering. And I think it's very important that people understand that, because substance and alcohol abuse, change the brain. It doesn't make the brain work properly. And, obviously being an abuser and being abused is a mental thing. So you can attribute all of this to messing with the brain, which is the function of your whole body. So I really truly believe that those in just about 99.9% of our cases, one of those three factors will be a key ingredient in why we're covering the case. So anyways, guys, that's your updated information. This is updated information, newly updated information as of an hour ago. Again, today is the International Missing Children's Day. And the statement from Nova Scotia, well taken. It just is, to me, seems grim and dim, because to me it sounds like they have no where to go forward in the ground searches. I think they've covered all the ground, recovered all the ground. The children aren't in that area. So that means something completely different, and I think they're working on that. So anyways, guys, have a great day. If you guys would like, I know many people have, moved away from, the word, the Lord. I go to church. We bring our coffee club on YouTube to church every Sunday. We go to Countryside Christian Church. which it has an online service that we all accompany. I always put my hand out. It's not a requirement, but if you guys would like, it starts at 9:15 this morning over on YouTube. You can come and hang out with the coffee club as we, worship. So I just always like to put that out. Some people don't know people do that. So anyways, I appreciate it. Enjoy your Sunday, but I promise you we will be back. We're going to be talking about other missing children throughout the day on International Missing Children's Day. So please stay with us today. I know you guys don't see me a whole lot here doing lives, but we will be touching base throughout the day, showcasing a new missing child. All right, guys, have a great day. God bless. Rock it out with your coffee beans out, and we'll see you soon.